Hey, kia ora whānau. This is Rewa Takahu here. Just going out for a light jog, and then I thought I'd sit in the sun looking out on the Waitemata Harbour from Te Atatu Peninsula, and some observations, just some quick ones. So this is a really good shot of the interconnection between Te Taha Whenua and Te Taha Moana, the link between the land and the sea. From a huaparekore Ao Tūroa perspective, which is the kaupapa in regards to the principles of Māori organic growing. See this bit in the middle? It goes from the waterline up to where the harakeke is. This is your swamp or wetlands, and the purposes of a wetlands is obviously traditionally there was kai in there for Māori in days gone by, but one of the purposes is the cycle of rain. So when the rain falls down on the mountains, like in Henderson at the back here, the Waitakere ranges, it'll either fall down and go towards the Moana, to the sea on the west coast, or on this side it comes down to Waitemata Harbour. Anyway, so the rain falls through, comes down, and then it hits the wetlands. Now the wetlands, they were designed to filter the water so that when it eventually hits the sea, there won't be any puttiness in it, it won't be all dirty. Therefore, the wetlands are used to filter and purify and clean the water, really, so that when it hits the sea, it won't pollute the water, it won't pollute the fish and the ecology of that. And so the idea being, rain comes down from Te Rangi, hits the whenua, rolls on down the sides of the estuaries and re-entrance, goes through the wetlands and hits the Moana, and the Moana takes it out and it goes out into the South Pacific, and then the heat picks up the rain, or picks up the condensation and the water back into the atmosphere, and then the cycle happens again. Now the idea in regards to Te Ao Tūroa and what we're trying to do from a huaparekore, a Māori Indigenous approach to gardening and environmental care, is we're trying to make sure that that cycle is protected. Hence why you'll see often now, and particularly regards to a lot of farmers now, in creeks and estuaries that go through their property, they're lining 2 to 3 meters either side of the creek with either harakeke or native fauna and flora. And what they're doing is, firstly, it cools down the water that's in there, but secondly, and probably more importantly, it filters the water that comes off the land, particularly around farming. So you see a lot of that happening in the Waikato up north. There's this regeneration of our water estuaries and waterways, and the first place that needs to happen is caring for our wetlands. And the same thing happens too when the rain comes, or the water comes in from the Moana, because if that salt water hits the land up here, it'll kill our mahinga kai. It'll kill our kaitaka marakai because it's too salty. So the reverse happens. If there happens to be wind that blows water up, or wind that flooding, or natural curves of spikes of water, which happens throughout our history, your sea level rises and the sea level sinks down, and it's all in regards to the environmental space that's happening. And so the wetlands does the opposite. It takes the seawater and filters it through, so by the time it gets back up here, it's all the salt has come out of it, so the water is then able to be used for our mahinga kai, our marakai, and all the fauna and flora that's at this top end. Anyway, yeah, I was sitting here thinking this is beautiful, and so I'm looking and watching the birds, looking at this estuary and the wetlands and what they've planted out as they're being recovered, starting with the harakeke. The other thing, if you want to think about our stars and the time of year we're in, so we're coming up to Puanga for us up in north. It's the bright star above Orion's belt, but we're called, it's become popular now with Matariki. It's the celebration of the new calendar year, Maramataka Māori. Anyway, so if I look where Rangitoto is, probably be a little bit south of that. That's east. And so I've been watching the sunrises in the last couple of days, and according to the star compass, now this is second-hand information. I've got this from listening to the crew of Te Toki Voyaging Trust when they do their workshops and educational spaces. But there's whare that go around the star compass till you hit your all on the points, north, south, east, west, raki, tonga, awhiti, tomakana. Anyway, the sun moves, and in winter time it moves 2 whare north, well 2 whare north of east, and so you're seeing it's rising here and it goes back down, and then in our summertime it goes south. So I'm seeing the sun here as opposed to directly above me, because if it was directly above me it'd be more summertime. And so we're coming up to Sunday this week is the winter solstice, meaning it's the shortest day of the year, and so it's moved track up 2 whare, and then eventually it'll move down till it gets to the summer solstice, so then it moves back around. Anyway, it's just some observations by looking at the Ao Tūroa and thinking about water purification and the systems and the processes of keeping clean water. So the importance of our water histories and wetlands as a filtering process. Hope you enjoyed this. Click the like button, click the share button. We're here in Ao Tūroa doing kua parekore. Kai taki marakai, back our gardens. Okay, hei kona.